Recently, a netizen sent a bizarre video. It was two water pipes tied to a tree, delivering water in mid-air. It looks seamless. Some people think, as long as the downstream pipe is aimed accurately enough and catches the water flow, this effect can be achieved. So they believe the water flow in the video is indeed stable in the air. But many others believe that the water is actually flowing through a transparent pipe, based on the fact that the end of the water droplets moves slightly up and down. Between both sides have very logical analysis. So we are also joining the discussion to study what conditions are needed for the water flow to maintain the appearance in the video. Speaking of studying water flow, the teapot is a good tool. Usually the teapot lid is breathable. The spout inner wall is smooth and the water pressure is appropriate, so you can pour out a smooth and stable water column if the water outlet angle and pressure can be kept stable. Then this water flow after a short distance of falling will not be significantly impacted by the surrounding air. Therefore, the landing point can remain fixed, and when the water flow accelerates downward, the cross-sectional area will shrink. So as long as the receiving pipe is placed in the right position, you can catch this flow of water. Thus, the effect of catching water in mid-air in the video appears. It is clear that this kind of filming is based on the stable laminar flow from the water outlet, but the water column in the video did not completely maintain the laminar flow state. Enlarging the picture, we can see the front and back sections of the water flow show two areas of intermittent flow. This is the suspicious part of catching water in mid-air. Don't miss the exclusive offer in the comment section. So why does turbulence appear in the clear and transparent laminar water column? We need to explain through an experiment. If the water flows to the right through a venturi, measure the static pressure of the water flow along the length direction. You will find that the pressure coefficient decreases as the flow path contracts and increases as it expands. The curve is concave inward, so some people call the tangent of the curve the pressure gradient. A negative tangent slope is called a negative pressure gradient. It means that water is accelerated from a high pressure area to a low pressure area, while a positive tangent slope is called a positive pressure gradient. It means that the water relies on its own kinetic energy to decelerate from low pressure to high pressure. At this time, the water flow direction is opposite to the positive pressure gradient direction. Therefore, this deceleration section is called the adverse pressure gradient area. The concept of hydraulic gradient is very important in this episode. Observing a flow of water in a transparent pipe that maintains laminar flow, you will find, if you want to make the water flow unstable, you must create an adverse pressure gradient area in it to hinder the water flow from moving forward in this way. So, the boundary layer water flow that moves slowly along the inner wall, the layer with the slowest flow rate at the bottom, will be subjected to excessive deceleration under reverse pressure and stop moving forward and backflow and collide with the upper water flow. Like a scorpion, it lifts the upstream boundary layer and glass and draws it into the main flow. After stirring like this, the stable laminar flow turns into turbulent flow. It can be seen that in order for turbulence to appear in a laminar water column, two conditions are required. First, there is an adverse pressure gradient. Second, there is a boundary layer along the pipe wall. So the answer is clear. It turns out that an artist took advantage of the dark of night, went deep into the mountains and forests, then painstakingly cut off other people's water pipes, then connected a transparent pipe, hoping to create an amazing artwork of catching water in mid-air, but the artist ignored the obstruction of the transparent pipe's cross-section to the water flow. As the water flow impacts the interface, the water pressure increases, leading to the water flow entering the adverse pressure gradient area. So the boundary layer is disturbed and slightly separated, forming a relatively weak turbulence. Therefore, if you carefully observe the upper and lower sides of the transparent pipe's front section, you will notice these turbulent traces. Originally, this was harmless, but unfortunately, the artist fixed the rubber pipe in the dark. It was slightly misaligned left and right, causing the transparent pipe to bend horizontally after being connected, and again causing the water flow to impact the bend, increasing pressure, again creating an adverse pressure gradient area, and the adverse pressure disturbance at the bend causes the already loosely attached boundary layer to completely separate, extending backward into a conical turbulent diffusion area, occupying the pipe cross-section. Therefore, from the perspective of judging the artwork, The turbulence that appears in the front and back of the water column has already hinted at the existence of the transparent pipe, lowering its score from 100 to 80. And when the water flow in the pipe accelerates, the two adverse pressure gradients also increase, intensifying the degree of separation, causing the entire water flow to be occupied by turbulence. But the surface of the turbulence remains smooth as ever. So the transparent pipe is exposed, without a doubt. Therefore, the score becomes 45 points. It seems this artwork of catching water in mid-air needs further refinement to live up to the hard work of the Japanese Black Mountain giant water pipe.